Welcome to the 2020 Virtual Candidate Forum. Our desire is to create informed voters by giving the Plant City community an opportunity to meet every candidate on their ballot.
At the Greater Plant City Chamber of Commerce, we are a connector and convener in the community of current and rising leaders. When we all work together, we are Plant City Strong.
This event would not be possible without community involvement. We would like to thank Tampa Electric, Fried Egg Productions, South Florida Baptist Hospital, the Hillsborough County Farm Bureau, and the many other generous supporters.
Without further ado, let's hear from this candidate.
My name's Arlie Smood. I'm a member of the Greater Plant City Chamber of Commerce, and I have the pleasure of serving on the Government Affairs Committee. Our committee has prepared a few questions for every candidate on the ballot running for a position that will represent residents of the Plant City community. Today, I'm here with Mrs. Lynn Gray, who's running for School Board District 7. Good morning, Ms. Gray. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Can you give us a quick introduction and let viewers know a little bit about you?
Well, regarding I'm a school board member, District 7, countywide, and my background quickly is 30 years as an educator, teaching everywhere from East Bay, South County, to Jefferson, which is urban, Middleton, Northwest, Claywell Elementary, plus being a school board member, I am countywide, so those familiarities with those communities have really helped my perspective and appreciation. I am also an educator of history and a parent of one child, 2 grandkids, lived in Tampa 58 years, and one husband, and we've been very stable. We live in the same house for over 20 years, yeah, I still have high school friends from East Bay and Riverview and Ruskin, and not as far as Plant City though. But at any rate,
Not yet.
Yeah, you all have an up and coming community. I'm very exciting.
Well, tell us why you're running for office.
So this will be for re-election. And I've started a lot of initiatives, Arnie. I'm right now, if we looked at Plant City, Rick Lott, the mayor, and our superintendent Davis, and Ken Atwater, president of HCC, we're working together with the idea of making a state-of-the-art, if you will, that's Rick's title, a vocational technical school, and I'm just really excited. It's so needed out in South County, Southeast County, because those students, they have to have the vocational skills, in my mind, to give them a great, solid career path. And so right now, I also, because we do have a migrant population, for example, in Dover Elementary School, and some of the schools I initiated with the superintendent Akins last year, transition classes that would help those students from Guatemala, various countries, actually adapt to the American way of a schoolroom. And those transition classes, it's a model right now we put into Dover, but it is growing. And that's one of my more recent implementations, going out to, the racial unrest right now. I'm plugging in actually since February, with about 30 African-American leaders from FAMU, from Bethune, from our staff, our chief of academics. We're really going to get involved with curriculum for the African-American studies to not only be increased, but to have rigor and much more richness. And we're working on this. We have several committees. We're going to do elementary, middle, and high school. So with that in mind, being a teacher, being an instructor, department head, I've written curriculum so many times for students, because just let me share, a lot of them can't do the textbooks because their reading level is not adequate. So long story short, I spend a lot of time on instruction and a lot of time on what the student needs in the classroom. I can expand on that. You might have questions later, but that's something that's very pertinent and probably worth talking about within an interview.
Well, you touched on this a little bit, but can you share specific ideas that you have to help improve the Plant City community? I know you talked about some, but like elaborate on those or share more.
So when we have a school in Plant City, and we can go around to Sevener, Plant City, Turkey Creek, I have instituted a model. It's a restorative model. You might have heard about it. It's USF based. Actually, it's a national program, and it's called PBIS, Positive Behavior Incentive Supports. But what happens is when we have so many students of different origins and languages, Hispanic, is that we have to develop a platform for behavior management that is not punitive, but restores their dignity, their equity, their value as a student in the school. So the positive behavior really sets a great equitable table for students to enjoy positive reinforcements for activities they do right, for ideas that they share that are more peer supportive, mentoring. So all the skills, the soft skills, if you will, that will develop a child's habits to be able to communicate and to be an effective human being as they grow up into society. So in a nutshell, that is huge. I put that in, and I say the staff, when I got first into the school board 2016, and now it's expanded into over 50 schools, and 3 or 4 of them are in Plant City. And I'm very, very proud of that. And I can give you another example, but I don't know, I'm so used to having a certain amount of time to answer questions. So I'm trying to, you tell me.
We have 15 minutes total, so feel free to elaborate, please.
Okay, so another instrumental activity, which is huge, is the Hillsborough Healthy Schools. So we talk about culture and how our students need a more positive culture, but with academic, success built in. But we also know that we're mitigated by very much a mental health crisis, where kids are coming in with ACE, adverse childhood experiences, trauma, domestic, not only can't write, but some of them don't have the eyeglasses to see, improper clothing. There is a huge plethora. So what I've done is I have myself and staff put together physical, mental, social, and school safety. By Florida statute, in every one of those components, physical, social, mental, and school safety, 10 Florida statute components that make a healthy school. So every school, this is again an equity proposition, every school has an ability to take this survey, check off what they're doing. For example, school safety, are they having a resource officer that is trained in the Guardian program, and the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act, and then they would check it off. But what happens is we have 246 schools, and now we have 158 schools that are compliant by Florida statute and Department of Health, Department of Education, that make for a healthy school environment / culture. And it's a competitive situation because there's gold, silver, and bronze award winners. And I partnered with the Bay Care, who gave us $10,000 for the plaques. So Arnie, when you go into a school and you look in the first time when you walk in, you look to the right or the left on the wall, we want to see, it's just like a good housekeeping seal of approval, Hillsborough Healthy Schools. So they've committed themselves to measures that make for a healthy school and a culture that's identifiable. The next important point that I want to make, which is very relevant, I work with the National Dropout Prevention Center in North Carolina with Bill Daggart and Dr. Sandy Addis. I brought him down to speak to our school board, and I wanted to institute trauma-based training for teachers so they know how to handle students that have abuse, have mental and society problems that when you and I grew up, not necessarily were the same, but probably to a greater degree and much more widespread. So, you know, in a nutshell on this one, I went ahead and had a school piloted in Palm River Elementary. And it's already the data shows that the students, the absentee rate has definitely decreased. The teachers love they have a better relationship with the kids. And anytime we train teachers, as you know, with the best practices, it resonates in a positive way with our students. But the main feature from this is that Superintendent Davis will expand this model from the National Dropout Prevention Center, teacher trauma training throughout our district, and especially in the high need schools. So, you know, that's kind of like meeting the kids where they are. And, you know, that comes with knowing the communities too, Arnie. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Plant City and, relatively speaking, South County. And it's so important to know what these kids need. And the social workers, they see it just up front. They're in the, you know, the front lines, and the teachers, of course.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, we've got about 3 more minutes and 2 more questions, but I think you touched on this next question, but I'll give you a chance to add anything if you like. What's a challenge that our school district faces that you want to improve? You just listed a whole bunch of them.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to add.
Well, the newest challenge, of course, is the COVID. And I know that right now I'm working on these family community centers because last night at the board meeting, I actually mentioned I want the localities such as Plant City, South Shore, Waimama to have these centers, but I also want them as testing centers, and I want them as online tutorial centers so these students can go to a place and get the extra teaching that they may need. I also want this for contact tracing. So, you know, what I'm saying, the relevancy of this virus, and I truly believe it may last for the entire school year to one degree or another. You know, that's a huge priority. The other priority that we have to face, and we should, is make sure that the racial unrest, the teaching that we're doing is relevant to the demographics, to the actual students that we're teaching to. So the relevancy of facts and even fiction has to be taught, because students, you know, we have diverse students, and it's no longer a one size fits all. So my task as an educator is to make sure every school has their own bailiwick, but also the instruction that goes with the students that attend the school.
Absolutely. Last question, 60 seconds. If elected, what will be your top priority for this next term?
Well, right now we just have an emergency. Our fund balance is $50 million less than what we anticipated. So my priority is number one, well, the COVID, getting kids to get back to school and or online safely, and to have a learning trajectory that is progressive. But second, as a fiscal agent, I have to have my district to have a healthy fund balance. So our bond rating, which has been decreased as of, so I heard last night, I must be very vigilant and make sure expenditures and more recruitment of administrators, the reducing of costs, I will start prioritizing again. And I was the one that did bring up the referendum. And I was the one that actually helped with the impact fees along with the CTA and PTA. And also, you know, I always like to find monies, but right now we are in revenue. Our sources are going low, as you can imagine, with COVID. And our FTE students going back to online or homeschooling is reducing it even at a quicker pace. So fiscally, it's a big priority.
This is great. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thanks, Arnie. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.